have 2 sets of cones set up is because we like to have the first cone be for the person in each line who's all ready to shoot. Everybody else in their line is going to stay behind that second cone. That makes sure that nobody gets accidentally hit with a stick, and that we know that if the person steps up to that front cone that they're ready to go and they're waiting for our cue in order to shoot the ball. One other thing, sometimes we go to schools and we have very limited equipment and a ton of students in each period. And so one of the modifications that we do to this drill is we give only the first person in each line a lacrosse stick. So everybody standing behind has no stick and they're just waiting patiently for their turn. After the person who's first shoots the ball, they'll just drop the stick off with the next person in line. They themselves will go to the back of the line. And another big thing to keep it safe, we don't let any students chase after their shots until all of the balls have been used up, so that no one is ever caught behind the goal while other kids are shooting. Just a quick demonstration of how this drill runs. Coach Jen is at the first cone. She's indicated to me that she's ready to go, and on the whistle, she'll shoot it, and then she'll give her stick to the next person, and so on. Good. As we've mentioned before, every school is different in terms of the field space that you're going to have available and the equipment that your program is going to have available. And not all youth development programs will have access to the number of goals they need, or even goals in general, and that's okay. Shooting is obviously one of the most important skills, and it needs to be taught and demonstrated during your program with your PE period that day. But some ways that you can improvise this: we've used tape on a concrete wall of a handball court, or a hula hoop clipped up onto the backstop of a baseball field, or any time that you're creating a target where they can practice aiming, even though it's not a proper goal, it still gets the skill taught, and it still gets the kids practicing how to really zone in on their accuracy and practice shooting at a target. Hope that you found this video to be useful, and we hope that you'll continue using it as a resource, and that you'll encourage your PE teacher friends to check it out and start using lacrosse as a part of their PE curriculum also. Just a couple tips and tidbits that we found over the last 2 years of doing this in various different schools. The first thing is, you always have to be able to expect the unexpected and be willing to be flexible and make modifications. Ultimately, this program is designed to teach those teachers how they can safely and effectively use lacrosse as one of their units in their curriculum, and so the day is really about them. However, it's also about showing how it can run smoothly, and sometimes you have to make modifications based on your space or your numbers, and you don't necessarily get to all the drills, but you do the ones that are going to work for that day and that situation. Another thing that we found is that the PE teachers are obviously professionals. They've been doing drills in other sports. They know what works with their kids. We've gotten a lot of great feedback and learned a lot, and actually incorporated many of those suggestions into our day. And one of the first things that you're going to want to talk to the PE teachers about at the beginning of every section is that, do they find that stations are useful and the kids know how to rotate, versus should you just send them to the same instructor for the entire period? Have they done a drill in their soccer unit or their basketball defensive footwork, or any time you can relate it to something else that they've already taught? Since the kids already know those drills, you spend much less time trying to explain what has to go on, and they get more time actually playing and ultimately loving the drill. So we're just going to go through a couple other tips that we've picked up along the way that hopefully will help you run a smooth and successful youth development day.
When setting up your clinic and your visit to a school, you might as well in advance set up for inclement weather Ask if there's available space, if it's raining or snowing, if you can move inside. You can modify these drills, all the drills in the curriculum book, to be used inside. Find out if there's a wall they can throw the ball back and forth up against the wall. There's no reason to go ahead and cancel it. We can move inside, or we can move on to asphalt if the grass is too muddy and unusable.
The boys and girls game is very different. Not only do they have different equipment, but there are different rules. The girls game is more strict compared to the guys. The guys have gear on their body, padding to protect them. They also have a helmet, different sticks like we talked about earlier. And the girls, they have a different stick as well. They only wear eye protection and a mouth guard, and both of them wear cleats. In boys lacrosse, they are allowed to have body contact, and in girls, they are not allowed any.
Because of the differences in the game, ideally you can run your day separating girls and guys in the PE classes. It works for several different reasons, but one, it's much easier to explain the drill in the guys' version of the game for that day. If you have to explain the girls' version of the game and the guys' version of the game at the same time during that drill, you end up double talking and wasting a lot of time that you could be spending playing and learning how to play lacrosse.
Okay, that's a wrap for what we have today, and we hope again that you found this very useful and that you'll continue using this to feel comfortable teaching lacrosse as part of your unit. All the information will be available through the LA chapter of US Lacrosse, which is LALAX.org. And tell your friends. We hope to get lacrosse in every school in the country, so help us out. Thanks again.